Hello, 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 everyone. It is Teresa from Teresa's Spot for Art, where I love sharing art from my heart. Welcome to the Spring and Easter A Can't Sleep Creations collaboration, brought to you by our hosts, Dawn from Shabby Meets Bling, Monica from Up All Night DIY, and Jody at Southern Seasons. Again, I am Teresa. Welcome to this YouTube collaboration. The playlist is in the description, as are the links to our hosts. So if you could give the playlist a watch and give us all a little encouragement and thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm going to turn you guys around and we are going to get started. So I have pre-traced this bunny and we are going to get painting. Let me turn you guys around. There we go. I already have my paints out. I have a light blue, black and white, of course, always. Two pinks, but I think I might even lighten up the one pink. And then two different values of green to get started. I have traced on my design. And now I'm just going to go around. So when I paint how I color. And that is to outline. And the outline does not have to be perfect. It's just so it keeps my eye. So anyway, yes, I like to paint like I color. It kind of gives me an idea of where this color is going to go, where I'm going to be painting, where I'm not going to be painting. Doesn't mean it always works perfect because, you know, I can get distracted. But that is the point of doing the outline. So it kind of helps me focus on where I need to be and keeps me in line. If you paint with me, you are going to be happy with your project when we're done. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You're going to paint like me? No, you're not going to paint like me. You're going to paint like you. And that's fine. But you will be happy with your project when we're done. Okay, I got my bunny all base coated in. I'm washing my brush. I'm going to go to my white, but I'm not going to go in the dirty side of my white. I'm going to go in the clean side of my white. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start base coating in my bunny. And this is where, when we did our background, if there were any parts of our background that crossed over into our bunny, it's okay, because now we're going to be fixing it up when we come in here and we add the white. So we're not going to worry about if our background wasn't perfect, if we crossed a line and went into our bunny a little bit. Nope. We have many, many steps in our art and our process, and we don't have to get all caught up in the beginning of our first step, of our background, whatever it is, worrying about how we may have or may have not did a good job or a bad job when we did it. I'm going right over his face. You guys cannot see my lines. I can see my lines, and since I'm the one that's painting, that's all that matters. Okay? All right. So I am just going to, I'm going to take some of my pink, I'm going to move it over there, and I'm going to pick up some white, because I'm going to put in my cheeks, but I want my cheeks to be really, really light pink. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to kind of scrub in a circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just kind of scrubbing in a little area so we have some bright pink cheeks for our bunny. So now I'm going to keep with my dirty brush, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to start in base coating the flowers. And these flowers, yes, they start out as blobs. That's it. I have a series of them down here, and they're basically just blobs. You don't want them perfectly round. You want them to have some variation. I'm using my dirty brush from the hot pink and the light pink and the pink that I made for the cheeks. And I'm just filling in these blobs. I'm trying to keep my brushes going in a circular way, but literally I'm just filling in the blobs. Okay? Pick up some more. And I'm only going, every time I go back, I'm only going into the dark pink. There's plenty of light pink and white on my brush that I only have to go into the dark pink when I pick up more paint. And I'm just putting these in here. So our art goes through stages. We do things, I hop around, but there is a method to my madness, and we do things in an order so that we layer what's in the front and what's in the back. And also so that once, like when we base coated the background, then we paint in our bunny, and that cleans up any like little areas that may have not been, I'm gonna have to wash this. So good. You don't have to be perfect, but we do go back and fix things. So I say, you know, when I say don't worry about it and don't fret, you don't have to fret about it at the moment. It's not like we're gonna leave it, but we are going to be able to come back and address it. So I did wash my brush a little bit because I want in the inside of his ears here to be a little bit darker pink. And I was saying our artwork goes through stages. Okay, I'm going to get a different brush, maybe a liner brush. So that's why when I teach it, there's a method to my madness. And that's why we go through certain steps, because we want to let certain areas dry, or we need to layer, or we do the front and then the back. And this way, if when you did your background and you went around your bunny, it wasn't perfect, that's totally okay, because then when we came back and we put our main element on it, in this case it happens to be the bunny, it works out, because then we fixed wherever we might have gone over the line. I am here to paint. I am here to feel good when I paint. And more importantly, I am here because I want you guys to feel the same way I feel when I paint. And if that means that I've encouraged you to pick up a brush and paint as well, for a little me time, self-care, whatever, that's great. Or if I just take you and encourage you to have a little me time, self-care, whatever, watching me paint while you chill. Either way, it's all good. And that is why I do it. All right, so I base coated in my flowers. I base coated in the cheeks, the whole bunny, and now I'm going to put his little scarf on. I'm using 2 different greens, and I'm going to add in the leaves. So I'm just going to come under here, and I have this really, really dark green. I think I'm using Thicket and citron green or citrus green or something. So all my classes, you guys, come with a supply list and a tracer. I like my painters to be successful. I want my painters to be happy with what they painted, and so I am all about providing whatever tools you need for that. I was not born an artist. I was not crafty growing up, but I learned how to paint, and that's how come I know other people can learn how to paint. So that's how come I know that it is a learned skill. Are there people who are talented, can paint right out of the womb? Yes, of course there are. And sing and dance. I'm not one of them, and that's okay. So I'm just coming in here. I could have waited for my white to dry a little bit more, and probably should have. I will come back over it. But I'm just putting in the blacks of the eyes. And they don't match. This one's too tall. This one's taller. This one's shorter because I turned my thing. So I'm going to have to fix that. Let's make this one a little wider too. The trick is when you do your eyes, you don't want your thing to be cross-eyed, so you want them to be in the both. So if you're drawing the pupils or whatever, you want them both to be to the right, both to be to the left, upper right, upper left, whatever it is. And that's just a base coat for now. Those need to be fixed. And that's what I mean. That's why our paintings go in stages, because now while that dries, I'm going to go back to my flowers. Okay, so I'm going to go to my liner brush. We have all the base coating of our flower in. Now I have 2 different pinks, and this is a whole variety of pinks in here. And I'm going to just use my liner brush, and I'm going into my very dark pink. I think this is called Royal Fuchsia. And I'm just going to put in a series of commas or apostrophes. And they're going to go around the round shape of my flower, getting smaller as I go to the inside. And I'm going to do the same thing for every flower. Now this one happens to be a little darker, and so probably on your screen you can't see the variations. I can still, but we're going to be adding a lot more commas and apostrophes, so you will be able to see the difference as we build and layer in our flowers. Inside. Now that's just one layer of them. All right, I'm going to wash my brush. And while I wait for that one to dry, I'm going to go back to my leaves. So I'm going to go into my dark paint, and I want the outside of my leaves to be a little darker, and then I'm going to add a stem in there. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm trying not to touch my wet paint. I'm going to add, oops, oh, this paint is a little globby. I'm going to add a little stem, and then I'm just going to outline the scarf here with some dark paint. And then just add in a little ruffle in there so it appears to be like folded up or whatever. So I'm going to go back to my second pink now, my lighter pink. And I'm going to add in some of these in between where I have the dark, some to the outside, some in between, some crossover. It's really random, you guys. The less you think about where these go, the better. So I want to outline my eyes. I'm going to get a little bit of black on my liner brush, and I'm just going to finish here outlining the part of our eye that doesn't have the pupil. Okay? A little bit of black here. Finish that line, and then bring this little line so there we go. Now I'm going to take a little bit and I'm going to add in some eyelashes, and you want very light paint for this. There we go. Oh, look, looking so cute. Looking cute, looking cute. Now I'm going to come in here and I want to pull in just a few whiskers. This is why we do the pink cheeks first, to allow that to dry. So then we can come in here and add in our whiskers. Another way to do this would be to wait till your project completely dries and then to have a paint pen, or yes, I hate to say it, a Sharpie, but it works. And you can do this line work with a paint pen, like a Posca pen or a Deco.Art paint pen or a Sharpie, whatever you want, and you can do the line work yourself. Okay, with that. I prefer to use the brush, but that's okay. If you guys don't feel comfortable with that, you can use a paint pen. Even for these, now I'm going to do some outlining. Even for these, if you wanted to use a paint pen, that's fine. I think it's okay to use a brush for the outlining, because your outlining does not have to be perfect. It does not have to follow and be exact right on the edge. It's okay if it moves in and moves out, and then you have spots where it's more to the outside and less to the inside. It's totally okay, especially when we do these little hairs. I'm just putting in little spikes here, and they're not actually exact right on, and that's okay. So if you wanted to use a brush for this, it's totally fine. If you want to use a paint pen for this, it's totally fine. It's totally up to you. There is no art police. Nobody's coming to your house and saying, oh no, you didn't use a paintbrush, you're in trouble. Nope, it's not how it works. Okay? Your art, your way. There are a million ways to be artsy, and nobody needs to tell you how your way is right or wrong or anything else. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of white, and I'm just adding in some highlights. I like to break up my line a little bit so it's not such stark black. Add a little bit of white over it, make it a little bit softer. There is a trick to using a Sharpie or a paint pen though, you guys. Your artwork has to be 100% dry, totally dry, to use a paint pen or a marker on it. And a little bit of highlight into our ears. I want to outline this too a little bit. Again, this is why I don't really worry about either pencil marks too, because after you go in and adding all these details in, and the highlights and the shadowing and stuff, you don't even see your pencil marks, so it's all okay. So now I'm going to pick up some white, and again, you could wait for these to be totally dry. I could hit them with the dryer if I want. I think I'm okay, and I'm just adding in the same way we did the pink and the hot pink. I'm just adding in a little bit of white. Get some highlights in our flowers. Working my way around. However you want to call it. C's, backward C's, smiley faces, frowns, whatever you want. Okay? And I'm going to just add a few black, just a few, because sometimes that can really take over, but it makes such a difference. See the difference between this one and this one? So I do like to go in and add a little bit of the black. There have been art projects that I've used these flowers on where I've outlined the whole flower. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just adding a few of these little dark highlights. And then when I paint in these flowers, I don't know what's wrong with my paint there. I just like to pick up, or rather sketch in, a flower shape. I put in a top smile and a bottom smile, then I fill it in. I'm going to get some light paint and I'm going to fill it in. Pick up some of my dark paint. Have this one go off the page a little bit. I'm just going to add in a few leaves around the bottom here. I'm just drawing in my leaves, just like regular leaf shapes, nothing fancy. You want them a little pointy and tapered at the top. And fatter at the bottom. I hope you're enjoying this little Easter bunny, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. I need to fix up in here again because I splashed white paint all over, and it's kind of a good thing. It's not a good thing that I have to fix it, but it's a good thing that you guys have seen me splash and have to fix it, because it just goes to show you with acrylic paint you can fix anything. As long as you wait for it to dry, you can fix anything. You just have to be patient, right? Patience is a virtue. I saw that on Facebook yesterday, and somebody wrote, patience is a virtue I was not born with. I don't know that anybody's born with patience. It is something worth acquiring though, right? Okay. So there's my bunny. The last thing, well, two more things I want to do. I have to add a little bit of white to his eyes. Right. So I'm going to do that by adding a line. And again, whatever you do to one eye, you have to do to the other eye. And you have to do it in the same placement. Okay? And then I think I'm going to grab a little yellow. I didn't have yellow out, but I think I'm going to grab a little yellow. I'm going to tap in some centers for my flowers with the yellow.
So this is, if you're curious, yellow light. I think I need to add a little bit of light green to these leaves.
And then I'm going to add some stems. There you go. And then, so if you see, you guys, I painted the edge and it matches. You can leave it matching, or you can get, I'm going to grab this little narrow, it's about a 1/2 inch wide brush. I have all this paint left and I think it's cute. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to grab some of this, yeah, we have a little bit more time. I'm going to grab some of this dark fuchsia paint. And I'm going to eyeball the middle of my canvas. And I'm going to put a line there. Then I'm going to eyeball the middle of these two. Oh wait, I'm going to put one on the end and one on this end. Okay, I need to pick up some more paint. Then I'm going to eyeball the centers again. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to split these two. And that's all we're doing. We're splitting every section in half. Okay? I'm going to go into the light pink. And now I'm just going to put a light pink in between all the dark pinks. And I'm doing that only just by standing up my brush on the chisel edge and putting a little dab. And then I'm going to do the same thing with white. I'm going to pick up white and I'm going to do white. And I feel like this just adds a little detail, a little bit of whimsy to your canvas, and just a little bit of fun to the edge. Turn you guys around. And that is it. That's so cute. I might add something up in here. I don't know yet. And then there's my cute little edge. And there we have it. So I hope you enjoyed this little spring bunny. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget, you can join my spot at Teresa's Spot for step-by-step acrylic art. Love you guys. Have a great day.